When it comes to Naruto Uzumaki, hopefully I'm not alone here, but I feel like Naruto deserved more. And when I say that, I'm not talking about screen time because obviously Naruto was the main character. So what I think he deserved more of was Jutsu. Him having more versatile Jutsu would have been way more interesting because you have to think back now. Naruto's main arsenal is basically various versions of the Rasengan and shadow clones, which made it a little bit boring or at least samey when it came to his fights. Well, when it comes to outside of the main critical fights in the series, because you always knew that what would Naruto do? He would start a battle, he'd make probably about 4 or 5 shadow clones, the enemy would probably destroy all those shadow clones in one jutsu, and they'd say, what are you gonna do now, Naruto? And he would always just make more shadow clones every single time, which, to be honest, just became a little bit boring because it became like almost a joke. Like they would destroy his shadow clones and just keep making more. In comparison to other characters, say like Sasuke, which was his main like rival throughout the series, he has many different jutsus that made it a lot more interesting when he was in battles because he could use various things, whether it was lightning style jutsus, fire style, Amaterasu's, Sharingan. All of them just made each of his battles just very entertaining. Even the simple ones, such as when he beat Deidara, I really liked that battle. He used his wits and his smarts to outwit and beat someone that technically may be more powerful than him at the moment. So when we jump back to Naruto, it would have been cool, considering he has wind-style nature, to give him more wind-style jutsus, various ones, so then he wasn't always just dependent on using a Rasengan or shadow clones, and then when they fail, typically the Nine Tails would jump out and then save him. Giving him more jutsu would allow him to, 1, take more ownership in the battle so he's not just relying on the Nine Tails, and 2, it would have made most of his smaller level fights just way more interesting to watch because those jutsus became typical really once we got past part 1. We always knew that's what he's probably going to run to, and it's not like it couldn't have happened. For example, he had Kakashi as a teacher and then he went off with one of the legendary Sanis, Jiraiya. You would think he would have been able to teach him some new jutsus. So even outside of the wind style jutsus I mentioned, if you wanted to lean into more of the shadow clones, which he tends to do, they could have mixed in another variation, which is him learning the shadow clone shuriken jutsu, because at the end of the day, that's something else a little bit different. Because at the moment, all he does is transform his body or make duplicates. It would have been cool for him to actually do that more frequent because 1, it kind of shows respect to the Sarutobi clan. They could have even had Konohamaru teach him when he taught him the Rasengan or someone more proficient back when he was younger. It would have been more interesting just to have a few more different bits in his arsenal. It would have been something very interesting to add to the story without making him too overpowered. But let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm out of the reservoir here and I'm by myself, but I do think there are some jutsus I think he shouldn't have learned because 1, you don't want the character to be too broken. For example, some say that he should have learned some ceiling jutsus to kind of honor his Uzumaki and also Minato because they performed a lot of ceiling jutsus. However, Naruto, I don't think those would be a good suit for Naruto simply because he's not really shown to be one of the smartest of characters, so those jutsus don't really seem like a good fit, which is why I would also say Genjutsu obviously wouldn't be another one for him to do. However, there's definitely some lower level jutsus of various nature that Jiraiya or Kakashi or himself could have picked up on just to give him at least a little bit more versatility in his battles. Obviously, I assume Kishimoto never wanted to give him too many just to ensure that Naruto doesn't appear too overpowered, but he inadvertently made many of his battles outside of the Pain and the Sasuke battles a little bit too typical because when Naruto would start a battle, we all kind of knew the blueprint. He'd start off with his shadow clone, do them a few times. Once they fail, try and catch the opponent off guard with a Rasengan, and if he gets beaten to a pulp after that point, we always knew that the Nine Tails was probably going to burst out of him at some point. Whereas if you just gave him even one more thing, which is the wind nature jutsus, at least that would have been one extra arsenal that he could have done. Doesn't have to be super immense powerful jutsus, but it could have been just various wind style moves that made it just a little bit different, so it wasn't always predictable when it came to the battling. But yeah, guys, that's just my thoughts anyway. Let me know what you guys think, you know what I mean? I could be completely on my own here and people just think he was perfect how he is, but I definitely think it would have been just more interesting to see because he's the main character, so you don't want to see him do the same things over and over again. But anyways, not a long video. I just wanted to drop this out there because this has been on my mind for, well, to be honest, from when I started watching Shippuden, it just started to become a little bit samey. But that being said, I still love the series. I just feel like it would have made his battles just as entertaining as most of Sasuke's battles. But yeah, anyways, people, hope you enjoyed the video. Please subscribe if you're brand new, and I'll see you guys in a new video. Peace.